Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs here at Stowe State University. We are delighted to have everyone here for the installation of Dr. Dwaun J. Warmack. What does it mean to us as an institution of higher education and to the St. Louis community? This occasion means that the continuation of an institutional commitment to providing access to higher education to an underserved population. It means serving as a game changer for individuals who arrive at Stowe State University with the hopes of completing a baccalaureate degree to improve their quality of life. And under Dr. Warmack's leadership, it means serving as an intellectual think tank to properly address the civic and moral issues that are germane to the St. Louis region and to our great nation. This occasion means that Stowe State University will constantly be in the forefront. We will be in the forefront of positive change for our world.
Good morning. Good morning. Protocol being established so well by the University Provost, I will get right to it. I bring you greetings and a warm welcome to this special occasion, because today we are continuing to make history by installing our 19th president, Dr. Dwaun J. Warmack. Dr. Warmack understands the mission and vision of this institution because his journey into adulthood was very much like many in our student body. His student-centered and student-focused approach will always determine and drive the course of action he takes when it comes to Stowe State University. Therefore, we, the board, are more than convinced that Stowe is in great hands. Again, welcome.
I was coming in on I-70 this morning as the sun rose, and as the dawn gradually changed from darkness to light, it occurred to me that each new day brings with it opportunities, dreams, and aspirations. In observing this inauguration, all of us, you and I, celebrate a new day for Stowe State University. As this ceremony unfolds, as you celebrate your history and ponder the opportunities that lie ahead, there will be one constant refrain. That refrain is reflected in your motto, inspiring change. Inspiring change, embracing change, leading change, especially through educational attainment, has never been more important to our communities, to our families, to our state. President Barack Obama said, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the change we seek." Our students come to this university seeking knowledge that will change their lives. Will you satisfy their hunger? The Board of Trustees of this university have chosen a transformative leader in Dr. Warmack. He already has the respect of the leaders of our state and the St. Louis region. He has the vision for what Stowe can be in the future. With the support of your prayers, your encouragement, and your commitment, President Warmack will provide inspired leadership for a new generation of Stowe graduates, students, faculty, and staff. Dr. Warmack, congratulations and Godspeed on behalf of the entire system of higher education in the state.
It certainly is a great day for this quality institution and the city. Dr. Warmack, it is my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the people of St. Louis and welcome your entire family to our city and to congratulate you on your installation as the 19th president of Stowe State University. As one of the youngest college presidents in the country, St. Louis is fortunate to have your vibrant leadership in our community. I certainly want to thank Thelma Cook and the entire Board of Regents for the great job that you've done in your selection of this outstanding individual. I've had some time to spend with Dr. Warmack, and I will tell you, those that know him know that he is not only extremely bright and energetic, He has just a wonderful passion for education and people. And he has really done an outstanding outreach effort so far in our community to make sure that he engages our entire community in helping with his efforts to continue to maintain the strength of this organization and to make it even stronger. So I'm very impressed with Dr. Warmack with your efforts so far to raise $1 million in funds and scholarships for deserving students who attend Stowe. And your efforts to continue to develop programs that promote diversity, champion inclusion, academic excellence, and the retention of underrepresented students here. I know that you're committed to maintaining the strength and growing the strength of this organization of higher education in St. Louis, and I certainly wish you all the very best in doing so. And please know, and I'm here for several reasons. One, to bring focus on the importance of this organization, to welcome you and your family to our city and congratulate you, but also to let you know that I and our city is your partner in all of your efforts. So you know we're here. I'm not going to read the entire proclamation, but on behalf of the people of St. Louis, Dr. Warmack, I want to present you with a proclamation declaring today, April 17, 2015, as Dr. Dwaun J. Warmack Day in the city of St. Louis.
Over the last 150 years, Stowe has provided a great education to young people throughout our community. Under the leadership of the President, I am confident that more leaders will emerge from this great institution with quality education. Dr. Warmack is the perfect man to lead this university into the future. He is a forward-thinking individual, progressive leader that we in the city of St. Louis needed. Dr. Warmack is my friend. And I can tell you this here, that we are actively working to put Stowe on the same level of playing field as every other university in the state of Missouri. And that is why I am pleased to announce the passage of Senate Bill 334.
I'm excited about Stowe State University. I'm excited about Dr. Dwayne Warmack. And I'm excited about him not just because he's a smooth brother. Not just because he's a shimmering and just pretty brother. Because he's a bow tie wearing brother, a Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. A select group like myself. Now, I'm also excited about Dr. Dwayne Warmack because I want to ask you, do you feel it? Do you feel that energy? That change of atmosphere that he has brought to this university in just a short amount of time. He's been here for quite some time, but he's gonna, every great leader needs a good organization. And every great leader needs a good following. And that energy, that atmosphere, takes more than just Dr. Dwayne Warmack. It takes each and every one of you. It takes each and every one of us on this stage. Today is not just a day where we get to say good things about this new great president. It's a day where we commit ourselves, and we are showing ourselves a commitment to Stowe State University and this president. And I ask you today to commit yourself to Stowe State University, commit yourself to this young man, and commit yourself to the future of our great university. Thank you so much.
10 years ago when I stepped on this campus and I stepped on the campus and I said, God, I believe. I believe in this institution. And it was one building at the time. And over the years has grown to be a massive force in this community and for this nation. And so Dr. Warmack, the Alumni Association, believes in you and in this institution. We are here, we are supportive, and we will always love our HSSU. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Owolabi Tiamiyu. I'm the president of the Faculty Senate and the chair of the accounting program. Dr. Warmack, I greet you 158 times been each year that our school has been in existence. I was asked to bring greetings to you, and all I felt was exactly because you are an exciting and inspiring leader. You are a picture of true leadership. It is easy for people to talk the talk, but you walk the talk. I agree wholeheartedly with our President Emeritus, Dr. Harry Givens, when he proclaimed that you are the real deal. The young students of elementary school in Ferguson will never forget you. You showed them that we have black men who are scholars. When you took Aristotle students there to welcome them after the Michael Brown tragedy. Our four alumni that served on the Capitol grew taller when they saw Hardieway on the hill on April the 8th, 2015. Thank you, Dr. Warmack. In my 9 years short stay at Hardieway, I've never seen a president that rode the school bus with the students except you. I've never seen a president that played basketball with the students except you. I'm not saying this accomplishment to praise you. I'm saying this accomplishment to let you know that you have given us a taste of greatness, and our expectation is very high. And I'm confident you will deliver. Kindly extend my warm greetings to your lovely wife and beautiful daughter. We welcome you to Hardieway with open hands. And no matter what you hear, I want you to know, in Hardieway faculty, you have a core of very reasonable people, and we will work with you toe to toe, and everything you want to achieve will be with you. The shared governance is going to be a pleasant experience for you. Indeed, and in truth, it's a great day to be among us.
Greetings. On behalf of the Staff Association here at Hardieway State University, it is an honor to stand before you on this joyous occasion. This is an occasion we celebrate to mark this historic time of this dynamic institution. As we look forward to the possible future of this place, we are led by a leader with a clear vision to transcend Hardieway State University to be one of the world's premier institutions. This occasion that we share in this space at this time is a part of a rich legacy that began over 158 years ago. Throughout transition, build anticipation of arrival to this very moment of celebration, the inauguration of Dr. J. Dwaun Warmack. Waiting for your expectation, integrity, tenacity, confidence, humility, pride, and most importantly, your eagerness to prevail. When the call came through and the search committee spoke of the 19th president, we found out who this occasion was for. We, the Staff Association here at HSSU, is here to support you, Dr. Warmack. We know that this occasion calls for effort, advancement, passion, purpose, and determination. So now that you have arrived, expectation greets us in every hallway across this campus as we proclaim that this is indeed a great day to be a Hornet. Ladies and gentlemen, no one can deny that this occasion is for our very own Dr. Warmack. This occasion is for you, Doctor. closing, I remind you all that all things work together for good to those that love the Lord. On behalf of the Staff Association here at Harris State University, we would like to congratulate our very own Dr. Warmack, and we look forward to serving you.
I would like to welcome all the students, faculty, staff, Board of Regents, friends, and family. Welcome to the 19th presidential inauguration in the only HBCU in St. Louis, Stowe State University. I am Terry A. Hardieway, the president-elect for the Student Government Association, and I would like to bring great joy to be a part of this historic moment for not only our campus, but the community as a whole. As Dr. Warmack is a man of showcase his leadership, his integrity, and his determination to see our students succeed, with a huge percentage of his platform being student-focused. He molds the mind of the future to give not only the great excellence of academics, but cultivating experience. I am more than elated to call him our president. And I'm truly excited to see his vision come to pass. And again, I welcome to all of y'all our campus, and congratulations to the esteemed Dr. Dwaun J. Warmack.
Before Dr. Warmack had stepped foot on the campus of the great Bethune-Cookman University, I was a Student Government Association president, and I held the title given to me by my peers, faculty, and staff as the king of the bow tie. Title I held with pride. And then here comes this little guy. Little cocky guy from Detroit, and he so effortlessly snatches my title. But in all sincerity, since that day, Dr. Warmack has taken me under his wing. Under his leadership and under his guidance, I've been exposed to some things. I've been exposed to this thing that was at one point, honestly, was foreign to me, this thing called humility. While under his wing, I was exposed to this thing called servant leadership. I was exposed to the fact that as a leader, it's not about you. I was exposed to the fact that an effective leader never uses the word I. Under his leadership and guidance, I was exposed to the fact that there's a difference between a visionary and a leader. And while a visionary can see it and write the vision, it takes a leader to get in the trenches, put one foot in front of the other. I think it's imperative that I illuminate the fact that during his tenure there at the great Bethune-Cookman University, Dr. Warmack did not utilize the locks on his doors. And to some dismay, strange. But since the first time Dr. Warmack shook a student's hand, and since the first time he held a crying student, for whatever reason, he made a promise, a public promise to the student body, that he would never be unavailable for any student, for any reason, at any time. I think it's also important that I raise the fact that Dr. Warmack was not only for us in the boardroom, but he was with us in the field. He was not one of those that led from the boardroom and called the shots, but Dr. Warmack was with us. He was with us in the dormitories. He was with us in the cafeteria. He was with us at the step shows. He was with us at the pep rallies. He was with us even though we was losing at the basketball games. He was with us. He was with us at the football games. He rejoiced with us. He cried with us. He was happy with us. He was mad with us. Dr. Warmack, hear me, Dr. Warmack was even on the yard eating burnt hamburgers and hot dogs with us. That's love. Stowe State University faculty and staff, I beg, I plead, and I even admonish you not to take for granted the blessing that God has bestowed upon this historic university in the person of Dr. Dwaun Warmack, because the unfortunate thing about life is that a lot of us don't understand and respect what we have until it's gone. In closing, since that day Dr. Warmack has taken me under his wing, he has constantly bestowed wisdom, knowledge, and understanding into my life and into the lives of many others. But today, I deem it necessary to flip the script and leave my mentor with some words of encouragement quoted some 50 plus years ago by the beloved Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He says, Dr. Warmack, if you can't fly, just run. He says, if you can't run, just Just walk. And Dr. Warmack, there will be some days that you feel as if the journey that has been placed before you has battered you so much that you can't even walk anymore. But he says, Dr. Warmack, when you can't walk, just crawl. Just crawl. And my words that I leave from the little guy to the big guy, from the mentee to the mentor, from the little Kappa to the big Kappa. Words that I leave with you, Dr. Warmack, today is whatever you do, just keep moving forward.
My name is Joelle Davis-Clark, and I'm honored and privileged to speak as a professional colleague. I have known Dr. Dwaun Warmack for almost 12 years. We met through an organization, a professional association called the Southern Association for College Student Affairs. And as several of us here are colleagues that are part of that group. And it's one of those crazy things, ladies and gentlemen, where we kind of go to this conference every year. And just like y'all talking about y'all HSSU, love it, I love it, we have something called Saxa Time. And every year when it's Saxa Time, we convene and we fellowship and we support each other as colleagues. And that's how I met Dwayne and his beautiful wife, Keisha, and little Miss Morgan. So I've been a part of seeing all of that kind of transform. I have prayed and prayed all month about what I could say about this beautiful man, my brother. I don't have a whole bunch of male friends, but I'll tell you the few that I do have, Dwaun's one of them. And as I was trying to be reflective and think about what I could say and share with you all as a professional and personal friend, I kind of came up with 4 words. It was this whole notion of friendship, fellowship, fatherhood, and fidelity. Again, friendship, fellowship, fatherhood, and fidelity. Dwaun is not a friend of convenience, okay? He is a friend of accessibility. He's a friend of love. One of the things I've learned from him, we're about the same age, but he's been a mentor. And Dwaun is one of those individuals, as you probably know, that will support you to the end. He will give you the shirt off his back. He gives love unconditionally. One of the things I have been benefited from by being in his life is that he not only supports me and several of my colleagues, but he also checks us, okay? And that's what I appreciate. He is not a head, not a friend that's gonna tell you what you wanna hear. I was able to see kind of his attitude and life transformed by having this beautiful daughter, Miss Morgan. And as you saw in the picture, the one-on-one contact, the time he takes with her, again, as I call him on the phone, sometimes he's giving a bath or just saying, Morgan, sit down, come on, let's eat. That fatherhood piece, and so it's very powerful because we don't get to see our brothers in that light a lot. And what he does with Keisha and with Morgan is very demonstrative of strong black men in our community that are going to make a difference. And it's going to make a difference for this community as well. And with that piece, that love that you see that he gives his family, you're going to see it translate to this community. And I think that's very, very powerful because I think he takes this institution, I know he will, personally, just like he does his family.
I am here to talk to you about a miracle I received at Bethune-Cookman University, and that miracle is now here with you at Stowe State University. None other than the 19th president of your illustrious university. You know, when I think about all of the comments that have been made, my keynote address has probably already been given. We're talking about a dynamic, transformative leader. But what I want to talk to you about this morning is a person who has touched us in ways that perhaps we've never been touched before. When I read about our remarkable founder, Dr. Bethune, one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century, civic engagement was what she believed in. I thought that I would never in my lifetime meet anyone that touched me as much as those leaders back in those days, until I had the opportunity to engage your new president. Because what we're really talking about is not only a dynamic, transformative leader, we're talking about someone similar to Dr. Bethune, who was called by God for such a time as this. And he set Bethune-Cookman on the pathway that we will never forget. He has touched so many lives, and he continues to transform those that he comes into touch with. The late Dr. Benjamin E. Mays, President Emeritus of Morehouse College, and also one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century, explained that there is such a concept of true greatness, and that each person who lives can reach that level of true greatness if only they know what greatness is. If we speak frankly about historically Black colleges today and the many challenges we have on our systems, we all have to admit that we need new leaders to manage a new era. We need leaders who come with competencies and with that calling that I'm talking about, and with that true greatness that will continue the legacy of our institutions long into the future. Why? We are receiving so many students, more than we have in the past, who come to our institutions with many needs, so many challenges, that their future of obtaining a degree may be compromised. I'd like to tell you that so many of our students, as we've heard last night at the symposium, are coming from poverty. They're coming from areas where they have survived by the grace of God and by the dreams of getting a college education. Such a student in the Bethune-Cookman University during my early presidency, I would call him Robert. Robert was very rough around the edges. In fact, he was what you call a slickster. He came from a community in our area, and he had this dream and vision of getting an education. Very bright student. He was probably at the top of his class in high school. He had probably one of the highest ACT and SAT scores in his school. And we were very proud to have this young man join our family at Bethune-Cookman. But of course, he had to go to the financial aid office, as most students do. And the counselor engaged with him and said, I need you now to take this application and get a parental signature. He had a very puzzled look on his face, and he said, should I go to the jailhouse for my mother's signature or the prison for my father's? Both of his parents had addiction issues and other problems. And that counselor found that this particular student, Robert, had assumed an apartment off campus and had moved his siblings in with him to take care of them while he planned to attend our university, using the money from financial aid to help him do the job that most parents do. It was a very difficult road with dealing with Robert. He was bright, he was articulate, but he brought the very skills that saved him in his community to our university. He had seen just about everything in his community, from gang-related activities, to crime, to violence, to drugs being sold on almost every corner of the street. But yet, we had to graduate a young man to make a difference, not only with education, but with values. It took more than the traditional staff people, administrators, and faculty, as too many of you know, to deal with someone like that without understanding that we each have a calling for greatness, to take that student under our wings and to make a difference, to hold that student accountable, and to have that student understand that those particular skills that may have saved his life will now take him forward in this community, in this world. I share Robert's story with you because it is an illustration of what many historically Black colleges and universities do. They transform the student. I must tell you that we were never so proud that Robert started to show signs of effective leadership, principle-centered leadership. He actually was elected to the president of the STA organization, sat with the Board of Trustees, with Dr. James, and a number of the United Methodists took notice of him and his gifts. And we were never so proud as when one of the United Methodist pastors helped to secure Robert a degree after graduation toward moving to Emory University for a joint degree in the School of Theology and PhD program. This young man moved from a troubled student to a great leader because there were people on our campus who not only assumed the job, and the role of faculty and staff, but they had a calling, and they led the student to his true greatness. But my main purpose today is to talk about another young man that has brought us here today for this wonderful occasion, to talk about a young man who lives true greatness. And all you have to do is watch him, and you get the definition of that phrase. It was 5 years ago that I sat with my senior leadership team, and we were talking about getting more and more students like Robert. And we had a problem because we were beginning to read the newspaper and see the name of our campus appear for disciplinary problems. We noticed that many of the faculty members were complaining about the dress code of students. Does that sound familiar? They were complaining about students not attending class. They were complaining about a new trend that they were seeing of disrespect from students. And we knew we had a problem, and we had to fix it. So we had 5 candidates that met most of the criteria. 4 of the candidates had a terminal doctorate degree. 4 of them had previously served as vice presidents with a vast number of years of experience. But there was one candidate who was working on a doctorate degree, who had not previously served as a vice president, but it was just something in his resume that captured our attention, so he ended up being in the finalists. So it came time to interview the candidates. And Darold, that you heard speak this morning from Bethune-Cookman, sat on the search team with a couple of other students. We interviewed, that team interviewed students, the candidates, and rated them. And following that process, I would meet one-on-one with each candidate. Well, it turns out that this young candidate who did not have the experience as a vice president, who was working on his terminal degree, was the last person that I would interview in that particular process. By then, I had just about made up my mind that there was another seasoned candidate that seemed to be the right fit that would be the next vice president. But my mind was quickly changed when I sat with this young man who sat across from me with a broad smile, sporting a bow tie. As it turns out, he listened to me in my litany of what was wrong with Bethune-Cookman University, still smiling. And then I turned to him and I posed the question, why should I hire you? What came after that caused me to sit straight up in my seat and take notice. I'll never forget his words, and I quote, "Dr. Reed, when you talk about Robert, you're describing who I used to be. When you talk about your other students and where they've come from, Dr. Reed, I came from a neighborhood like that, where I saw a lot of my peers gunned down on the streets, where I saw the drugs being sold. But because somebody had faith in me, and because someone decided that I needed to go to college, by the grace of God, I'm here. Dr. Reed, I am doing great where I am in my position. I have opportunities for upward mobility, but I want to serve a historically Black college and university. I want to give back, Dr. Reed. I've been called to do this kind of work. I know what the students need. I can give them what they need. I can help you. I want to be at a place where I can make a difference. I want to be in a place where I see students who are struggling with the same issues that I once struggled with." Well, it didn't take me very long to realize that I had a person seated before me who had a true calling. To make a long story short, Darold and all of his students came to me after this process had completed, and they said, "Dr. Reed, our first choice is Dr. Warmack. In fact, our only choice is Dr. Warmack." So we hired him. And it is still being said today that Dr. Warmack brought the greatest gifts of leadership to Bethune-Cookman University. I mentioned problems with dress code. It wasn't a month before these students, male students, were wearing suits and sporting bow ties. As a matter of fact, they said they were bragging about bringing economic impact to the malls because they were having so many different bow ties to add to their collection. They were emulating their new leader that they respected, who held them accountable, who gave them tough love, who believed in them. And instantly they could see his heart. They could feel his calling. They experienced a miracle. Well, we could go on and on about the things that you've already heard about with Dr. Warmack, but I do want to share one story with you. There was a homeless student living under a bridge. Some of our students were slipping him in occasionally in the dormitory. The next thing I heard is Dr. Warmack found funds to give him a full scholarship, room and board. And that student graduated from Bethune-Cookman University, was it last year? And is now in Dr. Warmack has a vision. He's a transformative leader who's been called for such a time as this. He is guided because he leaves no stones unturned. The President Emeritus, first thing he did was to go and embrace a person of wisdom, to bring that person to him, not intimidated, but to say, I stand on what you have built. Now will you walk with me? To the regents, you will find a person who likes to collaborate, who will go out and share the story of this great institution. A person who just articulated last night that bill number 334 was going to be passed, and what happened? It was passed. That's the kind of thing Your president believes that learning should be fun, empowering, and life-changing. He also believes that everybody can reach that true level of greatness.
Wonderful day. I feel like a hornet. Anyway, this is my second time at Stowe, and I was honored with being able to actually get a chance to talk to the president and create a piece celebrating him and his mission. And it's called Called to Serve, Inspire, and Change. There are so many things that I was proud about this president and his mission, but one of the many focuses, of course, for our male youth in coming to college, higher education, graduating, and going into fields of leadership. So at the top of the painting, you'll see the men, the young men. Pictured are, I didn't just do Kappa because we talked about that. Got an alpha up here too, because he's not just leading the Kappas, he's leading all men. And you'll see different, so all walks of life, all men. Below are the young female students and their adoration. So the students actually embracing him as president. You'll also see a graduate to the left. And she's definitely a Delta because she has on her red stole. And then at the very bottom, you'll see a student in her AKA colors. So I had to also include a little bit of that in there. Towards the center, you'll see a black and white student. That's all about international diversity and bringing in people from all over the world to Stowe. And of course, at the bottom, Black Lives Matter. The first family in there too. We have the little Morgan down there. She's actually at the Clay Education Center with her mom to the side. So I wanted to include the family in there symbolically because that's my style of painting. Okay, again, thank you.
I am truly indeed honored to be here today. I am filled with so many emotions right now. I just don't know what to say. And individuals that know me well, I'm very rarely lost for words. My emotions are running rapid as I sat down and heard the song, and I look out to that chair that's next to my wife. My mom was my heart and joy. She was my supporter when other folks didn't support. She was my supporter when other folks didn't believe. She sacrificed. My mom wasn't didn't come from an educated family. My mom had a GED, but was clear with me that she wanted me to do something different. And every milestone and success I've had in my life, I've had the distinct honor and pleasure of having her there to experience it with me. My heart is just so heavy right now because she's not here in the physical, but I know she's here in the spiritual. And so for that, I am just thankful. Mr. Rodney Deal talked about, when you talk about sacrifice, my mom didn't know the first thing about a FAFSA reform. She didn't know the first thing about a college application, but she was willing to do whatever she needed to do to see me get out of Detroit and make a better life for myself. And when I think about our students that we serve at institutions like Harrisville State University, you will see my passion aligns with my compassion because those students are a reflection of me. My mom took out a Parent Plus loan, and to know my mom and to take out any sort of loan was a stretch. But she said, baby, I'll do anything that I need to do to ensure that you're successful. So Mom, I thank you today. There's quite a few individuals here I want to thank, and I'm going to make this really fast because I'm just so filled with so many emotions. My brothers are here. My mom had all boys, right? And we have come through this struggle together. My brothers were there for me, and we fought. We fought again. We loved. We embraced each other. But they have been true champions to me throughout my journey. And so I would ask all my brothers, Kamari, Butler, Rod, to please stand for 1 second. One little brother, and I don't mind sharing this, who's not with us. He's, we talk quite often, he's currently serving a 40-year sentence in a penitentiary right now. But every single thing I do and we do is in his spirit. So he's here with us in spirit as well. I have a lot of family members, cousins, second cousins, nieces, my nieces, all that are here and traveled all from Detroit to be here to celebrate this moment with me. So I want to ask all my Detroit fam, Detroit, stand up for 1 second. This journey hasn't been an easy journey, and I want to thank someone else, a friend, that's here as well from Detroit. He just stood up with family, but this brother here, when I say we were young guys, really, really young, and wow, my wife told me don't share any of these stories, and she shakes her head and says no now, so I'll be obedient to what she says. But this brother here is a guy, I mean, when we used to have to catch the bus, we didn't have resources. We didn't have resources, so we used to have to catch the city bus. We lived on one side of the city, gruesome winters in Detroit, from one side of the city to get up to be at basketball practice at 6 in the morning. Basketball practice started at 6 in the morning. We're in the 6th grade. The sacrifice, get up at 4 in the morning, one side of Detroit, catching a bus, the other side. And sometimes we didn't have bus fare, so we ended up walking 3 miles in the snow to do it. And this guy here was with me on the bus. And I'll never forget our senior year in high school, and we didn't come from resources. And so we were at a movie theater, I think our junior year, we caught the city bus. You had to catch 3 buses to get to the movie theater. And so we used to go and go out there to have a good time at the mall. And the movie was over and the bus stopped running. And it was a long way home. And we had began to walk. And he had said then, he said, brother, when I get a car, I'm gonna always give you a ride. And he did, in our senior year, he did get a car. There was a citation. The floor on the passenger side was out. I had to have my feet lifted up. But my brother would pick me up every day. Dwaun, thank you, brother. Thank you. His name is Dwaun. My name is Dwaun. He married Akeisha. I married Akeisha. had a great fortune being the best man in his wedding, so amazing things. There's a variety of other individuals here I want to thank. I see Congressman Lacey Clay, I think you're here, just protocol. Would you just stand for a minute to be recognized? Are there any other elected or appointed officials that are here that was missed at all? Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all. Rodney Dio, the guy that spoke earlier today, had a chance to see something in me I couldn't see in myself. So he shared, when I shared my aspirations to be a professional basketball player, and I heard some chuckles, and so I sort of took that personally. Contrary to popular belief, I was tough. I just was 5'0", so that didn't go anywhere. But I had a GPA of one that was not the most desirable. And when he said he laughed and chuckled, when we think about my journey and being installed as the 19th president of this phenomenal institution, to think 20 years ago, I was one of those statistics that a variety of individuals, the research, all of the indicators said it wasn't college material. It was my GPA, my test score, the critical mass in universities, I would not have been able to get in. But because of God's grace and mercy, there was an institution like Stowe that took a chance on me. And because of that, I am extremely passionate about that population. Dr. Reed is right. I had a great career serving at a variety of predominantly white institutions. I was educated at predominantly white institutions. But it was a point in my career, and friend Earl Fisher, who gave the invocation earlier, knows I said, well, Earl, I'm at a place in my life where I'm not being fulfilled. The work is good, I'm making good money, but I don't think I'm doing what I'm called to do. I'm not serving the population that I'm called to serve. And so he said, what are you talking about? I said, I think I'm supposed to go serve at an HBCU. He said, are you crazy? And I said, no, actually I'm not. And he's an HBCU graduate, and I gave a litany of reasons why. And so when Dr. Reed asked that question, God had already ordained my steps to go and serve at that institution. And how it works, Dr. Kent Smith, who's a friend and president at Langston University. Dr. Smith, will you stand for a second as well to be recognized? Dr. Smith is the president of Langston University. God orders steps. Dr. Smith and I had met years ago when he was at Auburn University. Dr. Smith was hired by Dr. Reed to serve as the chair of this search committee to hire the next vice president. And Dr. Smith called maybe 3 weeks after I had a conversation with Earl and said, here's a position I think you really need to look at. And at that time I said, I don't know. But then I said, Daytona Beach, Florida? Yes. I had to go to the beach. And I began to do my homework and study the great Mary McLeod Bethune and her faith to start an institution with $1.50 and faith in God, and sold sweet potato pies to raise the $1.50 to start an institution. And years later, the institution still to be going. I said, well, God, this is where I'm supposed to serve. And Dr. Reed, thank you for taking a chance on me at that time. Dr. Kevin Rome, president of Lincoln University, brother, thank you as well. When this position opened up, Dr. Rome was probably about 8 months in his position at Lincoln and called me and said, hey, I think this may be a position you might need to explore. My president at the time, Dr. Edison Jackson at Bethune-Cookman, who couldn't make it, but he sent his chief of staff, his right hand, his left hand, his best friend for years, Fontaine Davis, was here, and Dr. Jackson, as Dr. Reed both have stated to me, you're ready to be a president. And when this opportunity arose, it was destined by God that I serve in this position. So Ron, thank you for your nomination and faith in me and believing that I can take on this title. Last but certainly not least, I would like to just thank my wife. Sweetie, thank you for the sacrifices you make on a daily basis. We have been in this journey together. You transitioned to Daytona Beach to be a part of that journey with me, but also how much you sacrificed to be here, right? I am clear that you didn't have to do it. You know, we prayed, we fasted about was this the right opportunity at this time in our life. We had a young daughter, and for you to give up your entire career, to stop working, to make sure that you're supporting me in this endeavor, I will never forget. Thank you for being my backbone. Thank you for being my support. Thank you for believing in me, especially at nights when I'm going through, and praying over me and praying with me. Thank you, sweetie. Really appreciate it. I just want to run through something really fast. I've had the distinct pleasure of being here for a year. So I have I'll be completing the academic year. Our commencement will be on May 16th. So I've had the great fortune to be installed after I've served a year. So I have a little bit I can talk about. And so I've had the great fortune of inheriting a phenomenal faculty, an awesome staff, and hands down, the best students in the world. We've had the unique opportunity to do some amazing things this year. But I am standing on the shoulders of giants and legends. And I was going to get to this later in this presentation, but I'll talk about him now. Dr. Henry Gibbons, who is an icon in this community. At this institution in 1979. It was one building. This was the only building. He had the vision, the knowledge base to expand this institution. So the infrastructure, the campus beautification, the degree programs was all under his vision. And an interesting piece, the parallel was Laclede, and on the other side was the projects. And he had this unique ability to go across the street to the projects to ask the guys in the projects to make sure they take care of his students when they had to catch the bus right in front of the projects. So Dr. Gibbons, thank you for your vision. My hope is that I can just stand on your shoulders and be half as great as you were when you were the president here. Thank you. Here we go. I'm going to do this very unconventionally as well. So most individuals give speeches, and I think as we're infusing technology into everything we do here, I'm going to play with this a little bit. Our legacy, our vision, and the future of excellence. To know where we're going, first we must always know where we come from. This institution has a rich, rich history. And what I found here is this. There's a lot of misinformation about this institution. So I want to spend a few minutes just giving you the true information. This institution was founded in 1857 as a normal school for St. Louis Public to prepare white teachers only, 1857. 1890, a normal school was created, Old Sumner High School, to prepare St. Louis Public School educators, African Americans only. Those two institutions function independently for roughly 90 years on one side, about 70 years on the other side, preparing African American educators, Caucasian educators. But in 1954, landmark case Brown versus Board of Education, as a way of integrating the public school system Harris and Stowe were forced to merge as part of that 1954 Brown versus Board of Education. Nevertheless, because of the merger and all the racial undertone behind it, when it merged, it became Harris Teachers College. Something was missing, because it was two institutions that merged. The Stowe name was dropped, losing all of the identity and things that would come behind that institution at that time. Through 23 years of push of legislation, 23 years of alums, friends, supporting, there was a push through the state, St. Louis Public at that time, to bring the Stowe name back to the institution. And then 1977 is when Stowe, it became Harris Stowe College. So interestingly enough, these two institutions function independently, forced to merge. And when we think about the diversity, race relations, interculturalism, racism, this institution has been at the forefront of that in this community for a long, long time. In 1979, through Senate Bill 703, Harris Stowe State University became part of the Missouri state system. That was the same year that Dr. Henry Gibbons arrived. Dr. Gibbons arrived in 1979 to lead this institution with one building, one degree program. Through that, this institution has gone through a major transformation metamorphosis throughout that time. In 1981, Harris Stowe was the first institution to create an urban education degree. The first institution to create an urban education degree. And this was the pioneers amongst multiple institutions in the country now who offer urban education degrees. I say that for a reason. We were the first to start that. We will become the model back of what urban education should be. 1989. So we celebrate being a historically black college at this time. It wasn't until 1989 we became a historically black college. Right, so you'll have individuals in this community I'll meet, oh, that school was only for the African Americans. That didn't start till 1989. So we've educated a lot of folks before that and continue to do so. Dr. Gibbons had the wherewithal and the vision to understand if this school was going to survive, we had to go back to the 1890 roots of Stowe. The funding from the state was dwindling, wasn't getting a lot of support. This way, being connected to historically black colleges, the resources were able to come back to this institution and serve a community in the greater St. Louis community who had been oppressed and not had the opportunity to take advantage of educational opportunities. Dr. Gibbons, thank you for your vision. 1993, another landmark year. Harris Stowe began to expand its programs. State governor at that time signed into bill, Senate Bill 153, which allowed Harris Stowe State University to offer degrees in business administration and also degrees in secondary education with the focus in biology, English, and all of those concentrated areas. Dr. Gibbons at that time still, once again, arrived to push this institution with one degree program with the wherewithal and the foresight to say, for us to be successful, we have to expand our degree offerings. So we were able to do that in 1993. In 2005, Harris Stowe State University became Harris Stowe State University. As you see, there was a variety of milestones that happened throughout this institution through Dr. Gibbons' 32 years, and all of these things were part of his leadership and vision to have Harris Stowe where we are today. To know where we're going, first we must always remember where we come from. So now I would like to talk to you a little bit about, that was the past. I want to talk to you about the present. Been here for 8 months, we've been able to accomplish a variety of the unthinkable. We're, in this short time, we had 14 degree programs. With the support of the state, my colleagues at other state institutions, we have now 4 new degree programs and 11 new minors. So conceptually, at the end of this year, we have doubled our academic programs Wouldn't have been able to happen without the awesome faculty. And when I arrived, I said one of our key areas will be academic success. I would like us to really push these degree programs. Here's what the focus is. I want to focus on urban ecology and sustainability. That's an area within this region that there's a need. Faculty got together, put together degrees, and pushed it out. Finance, our partners with Wells Fargo, we created a finance degree where our students will be doing live trading led by Wells Fargo advisors who are next door to ensure our students have that world-class experience. We also have a degree in sociology and political science. All that's happened here in this community. We have to be the beacon of light to help this community heal through all of the unrest that has happened. So we have to focus on social justice, urban sociology that are happening at those degree programs. So special thanks to our provost and our faculty and our board for believing in the vision to allow us to push these degrees forward. For us to be competitive in a global society, we had to increase our online presence. We had roughly about 2% of our course offerings were online. We figured that was we noticed that as a need, and so we're excited to announce that we have, starting in the fall, we've been approved by our accrediting body to offer 2 fully online degree programs in criminal justice and healthcare management. We also offer, a first certificate program in urban ag, which is extremely important when we think about the minority population that hasn't been as engaged in this profession. So we want to be cutting edge to ensure that happens. Another piece that's important when we talk about the history, Stowe has, for the past 4 years, graduated the most African Americans, males, and general students in mathematics in the state of Missouri, private or public institution. Graduated the most African Americans and African Americans as a whole with degrees in mathematics and those conferred degrees in the past 4 years. The state of Missouri has a performance funding and so we have decided to announce we have met all 5 of our performance measures at significant growth in the STEM field. Our faculty are doing excellent international research, and our students are providing a variety of publications. Another piece that just was produced in the diverse issues of higher education, Stowe State University ranks number 40 in the nation in degrees conferred to African Americans in education, and number 47 in the nation in mathematics and statistics conferred to African Americans in the country. The most interesting piece is, per capita, we're the smallest institution and the smallest African American enrollment in the state of Missouri. So it speaks volumes of the work that's happening at this great institution. For me, it's important that we develop strategic partnerships. Our team has been very intentional of developing those. So we have joined the HBCU China Scholarship Network, where our students will have a global experience and have the opportunity to study in China. We'll send our first 2 students to China this summer, paid for 100% by the Chinese government. That will We're clear that for students to be successful, post-bachelor's education is important. So what we've decided, we've developed a partnership, an MOU we just signed with Valparaiso University, where students would do 3 years with Valparaiso Law School. Let me be clear about that. We have a 3+3 program. Students would do 3 years here at Stowe and 3 years at Valparaiso Law School at the Stowe tuition rate. Across the street at St. Louis University. We have a 3+2 program with an engineering program. Students will do 3 years in mathematics here and 2 years in engineering at St. Louis University. Students will get 2 degrees in 5 years from both institutions. So thank you. Gofarb School of Nursing. We don't have a nursing program, so it's important for us to partner with Gofarb School of Nursing. Students will come here and have the opportunity to complete 2 years in our prerequisites, biology and chemistry, transfer over to get their nursing degree at Gofarb School of Nursing. So another great partnership in the community. One that I'm extremely excited about, I see Dr. John He's in the audience, the president at St. Louis School of Pharmacy. We've been working diligently to talk about how do we increase that pipeline of diversity and African Americans specifically into pharmacy school. John has made a commitment. We're in the final stages of finalizing our MOU. Very similar. Students will have the opportunity to go to pharmacy school, and we're looking at scholarship dollars to match the Stowe rate to ensure that students are successful. So thank you, John, for your partnership in that. High school and others. I'm going to go through here. Community leadership is extremely important. We talked about Ferguson. I started July 15th and August 9th happened. That was my introduction to St. Louis University, the tragic death of Mike Brown. For me, it was important that Stowe State University served as an intellectual think tank to help this community heal. What we decided to do since that day, we've had roughly 17 community town hall intellectual conversations about how do we heal this community. in a non-defensive way, not who's right, who's wrong, but how does this greater St. Louis community heal throughout this time. Someone mentioned that picture there is extremely powerful. Mike Brown's death was the first, his funeral was the first day back for school at the Ferguson School District. Unfortunately, when I arrived, I was reading St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and they had the list of the schools and schools that wasn't doing the best. Ferguson-Florissant School District was ranked in the bottom 10 of the schools. Out of all institutions that can afford to miss 2 weeks of instruction, the Ferguson-Florissant School District couldn't afford it. So for us, we took a different stance. Instead of going to the funeral with the lights was on, we decided to go where it matters. So we decided to go to Griffith Elementary School to welcome those children back, to show them a different picture, and to embrace them, to show the importance of 50 African-American males on our first day of class sacrificed to go out there to welcome those young students back to school, and the transformational experience that happened there. Unfortunately, we don't have the manpower because they asked us to come every day after that to ensure that it was a phenomenal experience for those students to go out there to do that. Out of that, we thought it was important that we create centers of excellence. So we've just created 3 centers, which will be asking for a lot of support. I think it's the Center for Nonviolence and Abuse Prevention. That's a very holistic approach to ensure that individuals on this campus, but also in the greater St. Louis community, have a safe place that they can go to avoid those things. Social Justice Institute, it was very clear when I met with the Ferguson PD and I met with other individuals on Ground Zero when this happened, there was a lot missing around cultural competencies and race relations. And so we want to be the place that leads that conversation to help this community figure out solutions to what we need to do to be the best place, the best city in the United States of America here in St. Louis. So our Social Justice Institute plans to do that. I am unapologetic about my commitment to African American males. If you look at the data, if you look at all of the indicators, that population, if we'll continue to be honest about who continues to die on a daily basis, we want to be at a place where we savor them. We want to show them a blueprint of how to be successful. So our African American Male Initiative is taking off, and it's going in a way that unimaginably for me, that it's the momentum that is there. We're at a place now, we don't have the infrastructure to serve as many African American males as asked to join this program. So we're excited, we'll be asking you for partnerships to ensure these young males who are serious about their education endeavors and also this community for them to be successful. Lastly, the community is so important. In this short time, we've been very fortunate to raise over roughly now probably about $1.5 million in 8 months. And for us, all for scholarships for students. All for scholarships for students. For us to be successful, we received roughly $10 million from the state. That's pennies. We're thankful, but that's to run a university, $10 million is not a lot of funding. We receive probably about $7.5 million from our student tuition and fees. Our payroll is roughly about $12.5 million. So that means that leaves us roughly about $3.4 million to run a university. We need help. What makes WashU, what makes St. Louis University is their endowment, the giving back to the institution. So we want to ask the community to help support our endeavors to ensure students that may not have another chance other places can come to Harris Stowe and get a quality education to offset some of that. So thank you to our partners and friends who have been supportive in our endeavors to ensure we raise money to provide scholarships for students that need it. Going forward, this is what you can expect. We are clear that we want to have a student-centered, student-focused, student-driven approach. Everything we do here is for the students. We will spend a significant amount of time focusing on customer service, leadership development, and students' global experience here at Harris Stowe. You will have great academic and service experiences. You will have positive campus culture. When you step on this campus, you'll know that you're at Harris Stowe State University. You'll be welcomed by the faculty, staff, and students. Shared governance is important. We're here because of the academic mission of the institution. The faculty is the core of what happens at this institution. Faculty, staff, students all will be involved in the decision-making process that go forward here at the institution. Institutional transparency. I think we're a state institution, all of our books are public. We're clear about sharing the information in a timely manner to ensure that all of our constituents are on board about the things that are happening here.